Hello, my name is Kathy, and today I'll be continuing the talk on the release stream. But before I do this, I wanted to tell you that because I have a great many videos now on many different topics, that I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easier to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Today we'll talk about another specific release stream theme and how to analyze them for yourself. Today, let's look at another two common release streams. The one where you die or are killed in a dream, and the one where someone you love dies in a dream. The release stream where you actually die or are being killed in them really gets your attention. You may die by your own hand from an illness or at the hand of an aggressor. Your death may be short and to the point, such as you simply blowing your brains out with a gun, or you may be executed. This type of a release dream may be a long dream with a complicated storyline, beginning with your being notified that you have a dreaded disease, then wasting away and finally dying. A common myth is that if you fall in a dream and hit the bottom, you must be dead, and you will never wake up. Another myth is that if you die in a dream, you will die in fact. Many people dream that they die, and the dream either ends there and the person wakes up, or the dream continues in another interesting and surprising manner. The release dream about dying or being killed is often interpreted to mean that it is suggestive that your old personality is dying, that then leads to a rebirth or a new sense of self. This is not the case with these dreams. This type of an analysis is not only misleading and dangerous, there is nothing healthy about this type of a release dream, and it is very important to analyze it if you happen to have this type of a release dream. The truth of the matter is that the release dream of you dying or being killed, or of you killing yourself or dying from disease, is usually the dream that a person gets when they are involved in self-destructive behavior or thought patterns or relationships. The people who have had these types of dreams upon interviewing themselves concluded that their dreams are red flags pointing some area in their life that is going terribly wrong. These are very important dreams. In this first example of the release dream of dying or being killed, we have a young man who dreamt that he was standing somewhere and he had a gun in his hand. He then proceeded to shoot himself in the head and was amazed that he felt no pain. When this release dream was analyzed, the young man asked himself why humans shoot themselves in the head. He said, because they are usually in the depths of despair and want to end their lives. He then asked himself for a vague judgment on that. What did he think about shooting himself in the head in general? Did he think this was a good idea for humans or not? He said, nope, it's a stupid way to solve your problems, but some people are driven to it. I certainly would never do it, he said. He found it interesting, however, that he was doing exactly that in his dream, shooting himself. He then remembered that he said that he felt no pain. He then asked himself, is there anywhere in his life that he felt despair and behaved in a way to make himself feel no pain, even though he was doing something that is life-threatening to himself? It was at this point that this young man connected the dots concerning his serious cocaine habit. He said that he thought he had been shooting himself in the foot with his cocaine, but maybe he was really shooting himself in the head. In our next sample dream of dying and being killed in a release dream, we have a young woman that dreamt that she had been scheduled to be executed by a firing squad run by the evil chief of police. In the dream, she is trying to figure out what her crime was, and it had something to do with the fact that she had refused to do something the police insisted that she do. She said that she hadn't done anything wrong, but she hadn't followed their rules and regulations. As they were firing upon her, she woke up, deeply concerned. When analyzing this dream, this woman asked herself, what is an execution? She said that a firing squad execution such as the one in the dream was not the result of due process of the law, but that it was a maneuver of strong armed policemen who, once offended, can have anyone summarily shot. She then asked herself to describe the head police officer, and she responded that he was the evil chief of police in a movie that she had recently seen. She then asked herself what this evil head police officer was like. She said that he was an avarice, control-crazy, sexually plundering, strong-armed, evil policeman. The phrase she remembered best about him was that after he was murdered by the hero of the movie, whom he had tried to plunder, she looked down at him and said, "Before him all of the city trembled." The woman then asked herself if there was anyone in her life, or any force or any part of herself, who was like this evil head of the police, before whom all of the city trembles, and who is power crazy, and who, when offended, can have people summarily executed. She said that this one picture, a very uncharitable one, of her husband, who, although he could be very kind and gentle, nevertheless had a streak in him as controlling and as vicious as the evil head of the police force. Indeed, her husband had the habit of scolding her mercilessly. This dream helped the woman to see and begin to contend more consciously with the evil head of police within her husband, with whom she had not dealt very effectively with. If a more traditional dream analysis of her release dream had occurred as the beginning of the transformation of her personality as something new and wonderful, I highly doubt that she would have been motivated to look at how much like the evil head of the police her husband was, and how much work she had to do with herself and with her relationship before she could hope for any new life and new relationship to arise. The dream described the current situation in her life. It did not promise a positive future. To help you analyze your dreams of being killed or yourself, ask yourself the following questions. 1. Why are you dying or being killed or executed in your dreams? 2. If there is one, describe the thing, agent, person, or institution that's killing you. 3. Is there anything, any of your behaviors, or anyone in your life that is threatening your well-being that fits one of the above descriptions? 4. How so? Elaborate on the parallels. See if you have made a good bridge. If not, return to the question 1 and 2. 5. What might you do in waking life to alter your situation? The release dream where you have witnessed or heard of the death of someone you love and care about is an awful dream to wake up from. The distress can be very real, and it leaves some people worrying for days that the dream might come true. In fact, some people feel compelled to contact the person pictured in the dream to warn him or her that something terrible might happen. It is helpful to realize that many people dream of the death of someone they love without the death of that person actually coming to pass. I have listened to many dreams from people that never came true in a literal sense. They are cases of people reporting that they have dreamt of the death of a loved one at the same time that person actually died, or within, say, a week or two of that person's death. These dreams are real, and they represent a psychic bond that the dreamer has with the recently deceased loved one, which is different. In many of these types of release dreams, we feel terribly pained at the death, sometimes surprisingly, of the loved ones. The dreamer feels no grief and no sadness at all, but simply accepts the death as fact. Within the dream, the dear one's death may be reported verbally, it may be seen in a newspaper, or it may be heard on the radio, or in what can be excruciatingly vividness, the dream may portray the accident or the death itself. These dreams merit the dreamer's attention because while, at least in most cases, they are not about what is going to happen, they are about what is going on in the dreamer's life at the time of the dream. The release dream about a loved one dying is described by dream analysis as the expression of resentment or hostility towards the person in the dream. Sometimes this interpretation of such a dream is accurate, but again, this is not always so. One should arrive at such a conclusion only after a careful interview. Far more frequently, dreamers who suffer such grief come to the conclusion that their dreams are about far greater concerns, hopes, and fears. Often the dead person represents a valued part of the dreamer's personality that may be dead, repressed, or somehow unavailable to the dreamer. The sadness the dreamer feels in the dream is often related to the dreamer's awareness, first recognition within the dream state of a sadness over such a loss. It may be that the deceased in the dream represents someone close to the dreamer who the dreamer is currently undervaluing or treating in a way so destructive that the relationship itself may be threatened. If in describing the deceased person, the dreamer is reminded of someone who has actually died, it may be that the dream is helping the dreamer to grieve the loss and do emotional work that was left undone in the conscious state. Thus, dreams can help us adjust to the loss of a loved one by helping us cry the tears we forbid ourselves while awake. In some dreams, we use the death of someone we love to express our fears of abandonment and insecurity. In our first example of the release dream of someone you love dying, we have a man that has been having a recurring dream of the death of his mother, his sister, and his wife. Upon awakening, these dreams would fill him with grief. When this man asked himself about a particular version of this dream, he would describe the person who died and how he felt about it. He would discover in each case that these core feelings was one of abandonment. Only then did he notice that these dreams were precipitated by his wife's having to leave for business trips. The dreams helped him understand that his anxiety at the absence of his wife was connected to his fears of abandonment, which he had carried since childhood and which he had projected onto his mother, sister, and wife. In this next example of the release dream of someone you love dying, we explore yet another possible use of the theme of the death of a loved one. A woman dreamt that her deceased father appeared to her in a dream, and she finally had a chance to tell him how much she loved him. While he was alive, this woman resented him so much for not being available to her and being cold to her mother. It wasn't until he died that she realized how hard he worked and how limited he was in his ability to express emotion. Now she wanted to tell him that she could forgive him for the fact that she loved him, and that she was sorry she had never said that to him while he was alive. After this dream, she woke up relieved, as if she really had had a chance to tell him all of this. To help you analyze your dreams of a loved one dying, ask yourself the following questions. 1. Describe the person who has died in your dream. Describe his or her major personality traits, both positive and negative, and any other unique feature that pertains to this person. 2. What was the person doing in the dream? 3. How do you feel about that behavior? Is there anyone in your life besides the person actually featured who fits this description? 4. If so, how so? 5. If the person pictured in the dream represents himself or herself, how does the dream action comment on your relationship with that person? If the dream person represents someone else in your life or some part of your own personality, how does the dream action, including your feeling, shed light on your relationship to that person or to that part of yourself? I have a great many videos now on many different topics, so I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easy to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.